Rain drizzled across lower Manhattan as commuters hurried toward the Federal Courthouse, umbrellas colliding, taxis honking. And right there, on the courthouse steps, stood Judge Naomi Parker, the youngest federal judge ever appointed to New York's Southern District. But that morning, no one saw a judge. They saw a black woman in a tailored navy suit and two officers who decided she didn't belong. "Hands behind your back, now," snapped Officer Hendricks, his voice cutting through the rain. Naomi froze, disbelief flashing across her face. "I'm here on official court business," she said evenly. "Save it," Hendricks growled, shoving her briefcase aside. Papers, legal briefs, evidence files splashed into puddles. Commuters stopped. Phones rose. A black woman being handcuffed outside a federal courthouse. The image said everything about America that words often couldn't. Naomi Parker wasn't just any woman in heels and pearls. She'd spent 2 decades prosecuting police misconduct cases across the country. She had built her career holding men like Hendricks accountable. But this morning, he had no idea who she was. "Bet that purse cost more than my paycheck," smirked Officer Miller, his partner. Neither man noticed the black judicial robes folded neatly inside the garment bag Naomi carried, the same robes she'd planned to wear in 15 minutes to preside over the misconduct trial against their own precinct. Inside the courthouse, Clerk Thomas Reynolds checked his watch nervously. "Judge Parker should have been here by now," he told the bailiff. Outside, the clock was ticking, and so with the camera on a bystander's phone. Naomi stayed calm. "Officers, I'm telling you, there's been a misunderstanding." Hendricks scoffed. "Yeah? Then why are you acting nervous?" "Because you're holding me against a car," she replied quietly. He tightened the cuffs until she winced. The metal bit into her skin. Her garment bag fell open, revealing the edge of a judicial robe. Miller bent to pick it up and laughed. "What's this? Halloween?" Naomi exhaled, steady and silent. Every word, every movement, she recorded in her mind like evidence. Years in the Justice Department had taught her, sometimes you let the storm play out before you rise above it. "Spread your legs," Hendricks barked, kicking at her ankles. "This is unnecessary," Naomi said. "You're resisting." Phones caught every second. From inside, Security Guard Officer Simmons saw the commotion and stepped out. "What's going on here?" he asked cautiously. "Police business," Miller snapped. Naomi looked straight at him. "Officer Simmons, please tell Court Clerk Reynolds that Judge Naomi Parker is being detained outside." Simmons froze. "Judge Parker?" "She's lying," Hendricks barked. But Simmons knew that name. Everyone in the courthouse did. "Wait, she's the new federal judge," he said aloud. And just like that, the air shifted. Within minutes, District Attorney Elena Reyes rushed out, rain soaking her blazer. "Officers, do you have any idea who you're handcuffing?" Hendricks rolled his eyes. Another protester claiming to be important. "She's not claiming. She is Judge Naomi Parker, presiding over your department's misconduct hearing this morning." The color drained from Miller's face, but Hendricks refused to flinch. "She didn't show ID." "Because you never let her," Naomi said, voice calm but cold. Inside, the Chief Justice stepped into the doorway, thunder in his tone. "Release her, now." Court staff gathered, picking up Naomi's scattered documents as photographers pressed forward. The scene was chaos, but Naomi, dignified even in cuffs, stood taller than everyone around her. When Hendricks finally unlocked the handcuffs, she rubbed her wrist. "You've made a series of poor decisions this morning," she said evenly. Hendricks muttered, "We were just doing our jobs." "No," Naomi replied. "You were doing your assumptions." Minutes later, she entered her courtroom, robed, composed, unshaken. "All rise for the Honorable Judge Naomi Parker," the bailiff announced. Every officer in the room rose, including Hendricks and Miller. They looked pale, almost ghost-like. The same hands that forced her against a police car now trembled before her bench. Before proceeding with the scheduled case, Naomi addressed the courtroom. This morning, I was detained outside this building by two officers from the same department whose conduct is under review today. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Let me be clear, she continued. What happened to me personally will not change how I judge this case, but it will inform the urgency with which this court addresses systemic abuse of power. The prosecutor nodded, knowing history was unfolding in real time. By afternoon, the footage had gone viral. Millions watched a federal judge handcuffed outside her own courthouse. The department scrambled. Internal Affairs sealed lockers, the mayor held a press conference, and Judge Naomi Parker ordered a federal review, her first act from the bench. Weeks later, two outcomes emerged. Officer Hendricks, terminated. Officer Miller, suspended, retrained, and reassigned to community service under the program he once mocked. And the Parker Protocols, as they became known, transformed policing across the state. Mandatory bias training, civilian oversight, and public accountability. Months passed. Complaint rates dropped. For the first time in years, people of color in New York began to believe the system could actually work for them. One spring morning, Naomi walked up the same courthouse steps where she was once humiliated. The guard saluted. "Good morning, Judge Parker." She smiled. "Good morning." The same steps that once echoed with shame now rang with justice. Her story became a symbol, not of revenge, but reform. Not of power abused, but power reclaimed. Because sometimes justice doesn't begin in a courtroom. Sometimes it begins with a woman in handcuffs who refuses to bow her head. If this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe to True Crime Files TV stories for more real-world narratives that expose injustice and celebrate courage. We tell the stories that matter, stories that challenge power and inspire change, because truth is worth following.